Hello and welcome to Creative AI. I am PixelPia and this is my series, The Prompt Lab, where we play around in MidJourney with different types of prompts and other functions. Yesterday, MidJourney released their video function. So today we are gonna test and play around and see what we can achieve when it comes to video. So with that said, let's move over to my computer. As you can see, I have created 3 images here in 4x3. This is actually an old one. It was created, I think, in either 5.2 or in 6, I'm not sure. One of the things with the video function is that you can use images from any model of MidJourney, the earlier models as well, or you can upload an image from anywhere else. It doesn't have to be a MidJourney created image. And as I said, I have played around with it a little bit, so let's take a look at one of them. This is one of my characters I have created a long time ago, and she is running. Looks pretty good to me. Let's look at the little mouse here. I just tried a couple of these before, but now we are going to play around with this. I chose these 3 images because they are very different. This is just a woman's face. This is a female warrior in a futuristic armor, standing in a war-torn city, smoke in the distance, muted color. And then we have my little squirrel. So how do we animate them? Well, if you hover over an image, you can choose animate. And it does it all automatically. But that is not the only way we can do it. While this is working, let's open this image. And you see here, auto animation, you can show low or high motion. And the low motion is what it did auto. I can also click here high motion just to get it started on the second set of animations here. Let's continue with her. And on the manual, that's where you can have more control. So let's click on the manual low motion. And it suggests a prompt here, a realistic portrait of a woman, motion low, but we can change that prompt. A woman laughing so hard she starts to cry. And let's see what it makes of that. And let's do a high motion as well with this woman. And change the shaking her head as a no with emphasis. And send that. So now let's go back. Here is the first set video and it just used the prompt. It's hard to see what it does when you have all 4 images, and you always get 4 images, but let's look at them one by one. This is the auto with low motion, all of these. Here is the 3rd one, and here is the last one of our low motion. Now let's look at the same woman but with high motion auto here. Okay, a little bit more motion but not as much. This is the one where she's laughing so hard that she starts crying. Oh, that was an ugly cry. We didn't get a cry at all in the second one. Let's look at the 3rd one. No cry in that one either. And we are still waiting for the last 4 to complete. And here we go. And this is where she shakes her head as no with emphasis. That looks a little wonky. That looked better. This I would like for shaking her head no with emphasis. Or maybe the first one. Nope. I like this better because we had some eye contact at the end and the eyebrows that lifted up. It was a very neutral image to start with here, so it won't do much. But let's do this one and start with low motion auto and a high motion auto. I submit them all right now. And let's write our own prompt here. Female warrior walking toward the camera, looking more angry with each step, moving her arms, pointing to different houses. And this is motion low. Let's start the motion high, starting to run towards the camera while moving her head and arms. And let's send that one too. So now let's go up and see here. The first one, the auto with the low motion, is done. And as we see, the background moves with her, and I think they keep the background pretty accurate except for the end here. These houses look a little bit too untouched for being in this city. Here she actually moves a little bit faster and looks around. This is not the bad one. The second one, here she moves very slow, looking around. And the last one, she turned around at the end. I don't know, I think I liked the second one here the most, or maybe the third one. Usually, in my experience, you get one or maybe two images that are really good. But this was the auto with low motion. Now we're gonna look at the high motion. Oh, I like this where they got into close up here on her. She has a little funky step in the middle here of this one. I think the houses in the background here are a little bit too, even though they smoke, they are not as touched as the one where she goes. And here is the fourth one. I actually think the first one here was the better one, where with the close-up. Okay, now let's take a look at the one where we started. This is the low motion, looking more angry with each step. And I think she does. Let's see the next one. She was pointing and she looked more angry, yeah? Well, they are all rather interesting. Well, that looks a little funky to me, but I like the third. She did a little weird thing in the beginning there. Out of this, I would probably keep the third if this was what I was going for. And now we have the starting to run towards the camera while moving her head and arms lively. Let's see. I like this where she didn't look at the camera when she started running. That looks a little wonky, some of her steps, but I like the third one where she gets really close at the end. And let's see number 4. I don't know, here she had the hair in a ponytail. Did she have, no, here it was loose. I don't know which one of these I like the most, but they are, some of them are really interesting. Now let's go down to our squirrel and start with the low motion, a high motion. I hope I have hours left for all of this. A low motion where what is he gonna do? Finds an acorn that he happily eats. Motion low. And for high motion, jumping up and down in excitement of seeing his friends. So let's start with the low motion auto. Well, I guess he's running away. All of these are pretty good. I have found when I'm testing that the characters like these are pixel versions or drawn characters seems to work better than the realistic photos. Now we are on the high motion. Here he's just talking. The higher motion is all the leaves, I guess, floating around here. Oh, I like this one where he talking. And this was more of a combination of the talking and the lead. Okay, they are not fully done with the ones where he finds an acorn and happily eats them. Let's see. Oh, that acorn came out of nowhere. Just pops up. That's more what I wanted. He picks it up from the ground. Well, he doesn't really eat it. He just nibbles on it. Unfortunately, he's chewing, but nothing disappears from the acorn at all. Okay, and what was the last? Jumping up and down in excitement of seeing his friends. Let's see, I didn't get rid of the EX at the beginning there, so let's see. Well, I hoped for more excitement. Maybe this one. Yeah, that's more of a squirrel-like jumping around. And that's also pretty good. So now we have used all 3 images in all the 4 ways we can do it. But let's go back to, we're going to work with this, shaking her head as a no with emphasis, where she lifted her eyebrows at the end. We open that video, we can see extend video, and again we have the 4 alternatives: low motion or high motion auto, and low motion and high motion manual. So we're gonna try to extend it low motion auto and do 1 high. Oops, I know I was gonna run out, so give me a second here. We were gonna do a high motion, and after she's shaking her head, and we are gonna say take a step towards the camera, lift her hands as a stop sign with her palms turned to the camera, and then turn left and walk out of the image. We are going to cancel this, go back to the image here, and extend with low motion because I ran out of my hours. So here we have the extended version with the high motion where she lifts her hand. What is going to happen is that MidJourney add 4 seconds. Each video is 5 seconds long, but for each extend you can add 4 more seconds, and I think you can do that 3 or 4 times. I'm not 100% sure on that, but let's see how it looks here. She doesn't really walk out, so let's try and extend this with the low motion by just the last walk out of a way. So now we're adding 4 more seconds. So these were, how long? 5 plus 4, these should be 9 seconds. And let's look at all of them, if she might walk away in any of them. She just turns around. Okay, and these were the ones where we had it low motion auto. What happened after this? Not much. This is you see down here when it switched to the last 4 seconds, she continues shaking her head and continues shaking her head. While in the manual one, we had said that she holds up her hands and all of that. Something more happening in those. So now let's go back and see here. These are where we extended it twice. So this, if you look down here, has 3 pieces. 5 plus 4 plus 4. So now we have a 13-second video. Whoa, that was scary. She turned her head 360 degrees. That was scary. Let's see if they did a better job with the 3rd version. This is the 2nd part, and here comes the 3rd part. Walks away. Well, she didn't walk too far. Let's look at the 3rd version. Shaking her head, holding up her hands, and turn around, and actually walks away. And the 4th version, that was different. the camera just dropped. Okay, that was a couple of tests. We are gonna try something else, which was where she points and is angry here. I think this was very expressive. So let's add the high motion here, and this time we are gonna try to see if we can play with camera angles. The camera moves to an overhead view of the woman and the city. I have not tried this before, so let's see if we can get that to work. And you see here, voice extended. This is 9 seconds total. This is 13 seconds total. While this is working, we are gonna take one of the, where did we have, not eating, where did he, this one, he was talking. Let's hover over this. You see you have the extend auto or extend manual. We're gonna extend manual, but we want the motion. Let's change that to motion high. And we are gonna, the camera zoom away from the squirrel and the color fades to black and white. Let's see if that works. As I said, I am still experimenting. So let's see what the camera moves to an overhead view of the woman and the city. Not bad. That was even better. I didn't like that as much. I think that the first one was the best one of these four. You can see it moved. Camera moves up and she starts to walking. Yes. Okay. We're waiting for the last one here and see. We wanted the camera to zoom out and the color to fade into black and white. Not quite. 4 seconds is a very short time. Let's see the others. If we got one that was better at that. Maybe it can't handle that part. Nope. That was better. The last one here. So we actually got some black and white. So let's extend this manually again. The color fades to black and white. And the camera moves to a overhead shot. So let's add that to, and that is the last part we're gonna do today, I think. Now let's take a look. Well, it moved away. It didn't move to an overhead shot and the color came back. So I guess that prompt needs to be rewritten somehow. First part, now we are in the second part. Gets a little black and white and then it comes back to color and it moved much better overhead in that. Let's see the fourth one. Moves away, turns to black and gray and turns back to color. Okay, well, I guess I need to play around with the prompts much more. How to actually prompt for changing colors or making camera movements. But this is very new. It just became public yesterday and I am sure we will find ways around this. This was just meant as a first look at what is possible. Well, that was a little bit of a play, but I hope this video encouraged you to give it a test run yourself. But be aware, it costs 8 times as much GPU as the regular image creation, so it will fast eat up your hours. In my next video, we are gonna play with another new value that came with MidJourney 7, and that is experimental. So if that is something you are curious about, I hope you will subscribe to my channel and maybe even hit the like button to support me a little bit. Until next time, as always, stay curious. Bye!